Obviously, B-17, one of the more famous airplanes, so most people that know nothing about airplanes and aviation, a lot of media folks come out and they know it's a neat airplane, but most people have seen the movie The Memphis Belle. If you haven't seen it, after you've been in this airplane, you can still find it. Go get that movie and watch it. It's got a lot of real popular actors in it, and you'll relate a lot more after being in the airplane about what they saw. And that was the first crew to complete 25 missions at a time that your chances of survivability on any given mission was about 1 out of 3. So, some of those, like I said, 2/3 of the airplanes got shot down on a mission. You can imagine a crew of 10. Every airplane went down, there was a crew of 10. And we're still getting the veterans out. Obviously, the youngest guy now is in their late 80s or early 90s. So it's amazing the people that come out, and they may not be able to tell you what they had for breakfast this morning, but they can tell you every tiny detail about these airplanes and what they did for our freedom, which is incredible. So that's one of the reasons we do what we do. Really, everybody asks what it takes to keep a B-17 flying and on the road, and it's a lot of money, obviously, but really, we don't keep it flying, you do. So as soon as this is not newsworthy anymore, and it's not a public interest, then we'll be grounded in a museum, because we'll spend upwards of $1 million to keep it on tour. I mean, just the operating cost alone, the airplane, we estimate well over $4,000 per hour. And a big expense is the fuel. Everybody always asks about that. 200 gallons an hour. So since we've lately been averaging $4 to $5 a gallon, you can see it's $1,000 an hour just to fly the airplane in fuel. So very cost prohibitive, but fortunately there's still a huge amount of public interest. We've been very lucky with this airplane in our foundation and our charter to bring it to the public and also take it around the world. We took it to Europe in 2008, and we were able to retrace the original North Atlantic route and took it to Duxford for the 4th of July in 2008. So if you see the documentary, it's called The Yanks Are Back, but they're running through nationwide through PBS. That's this airplane that you'll get on. So we had a full documentary for us taking it over there. It's pretty spectacular. Getting to see what those guys saw when they were taking airplanes across to fight World War II. In the early 90s, they started the restoration, and we bought it in 2000 and continued the restoration. So it's a $3.5 million restoration. It took 14 years to accomplish it, and I got to do the test flights in December of '04, and it's been flying ever since, which is great. The significance to the Liberty Belle and the Liberty Foundation is our founder, Don Brooks. His father was a tail gunner in the original Liberty Belle. So his father passed away in the 70s, but he wanted something as a tribute to his father and all the veterans that flew with his father, and which really led us to flying back over to Duxford and flying over his dad's original base in Framingham in 2008. So that's pretty neat. We're rebuilding a second B-17 in Douglas right now. And of course, if you saw it right now, you'd say it would never fly. It's at least a 10 to 15 year project, but hopefully we'll have you all out and down the road flying another brand new B-17. There's actually several projects that are being built right now, which is pretty exciting because they built 12,732, of which there's only 13 flying airworthy in the world now. 2 of those are overseas. So obviously it's getting to be a rarity. Obviously I know that there's 3 or 4 active touring B-17s, which is great, and we tell everybody, everything you can do to keep people coming out, because we obviously operate at quite a deficit. So whatever we recover in donations through the rides is what we put. Everything goes back to the airplane to keep it running. You'll be up for the entire amount of the flight. Everybody wants to get into the nose, and that, other than the pilot seat, which I have the best seat in the house, the second best seat is down in that nose in that bombardier seat. So you can get up there, spend a few minutes in the bombardier. It's an original Norden bomb site. You're up in that glass nose up there, and we got it nice and cleaned up for you, so you can get some great, spectacular shots. And we're just going to stay around and get some good shots of that. It's an incredibly safe airplane. That's why we're able to do what we do from the FAA. They allow us to do it with 4 engines. It's really great because like I said, we could take off on 3 engines and the airplane would know, especially as light as we are without bombs and bullets and all the gas that they had in World War II. So it is incredibly safe. A couple things I'll show when we get out there. Also, there's a big, huge hatch open on the middle, so your hair will be flying up. It's great with long hair. You'll love it though. That's where the 13th gun was. They call it the Flying Fortress because they had all the defensive armament around it. It was 13 50 caliber guns. Well, that's been removed, but it is a giant convertible. You can stand there with your head stuck out while you're flying. That being said, anything you can't live without, your hat, your lens covers, caps, any of that stuff, it'll leave. Okay, I promise you. There's not a ton of wind because it's blocked from the top turret. But, nobody ever thinks that, especially now with all the stuff going on and the wars we're fighting now, people don't think about the hero living next door to them. Like I said, most of these guys never said. They just said they're doing their job. You ask any of them. We always want to depict them as they are. Truly. I can't imagine every day you wake up, you see your friends killed every day, and you get up and do the same thing every day. So that's why, I guess you got to fight wars when you're young. So you don't know any better, because those guys, I mean, it was a different breed of guys.
We'll make it work.
But all of them, they just say, hey, we're just doing my job.